Hello YouTube. I am today installing my Arzel dampers. They're EzySlide dampers and they look like this. So this is, it goes right up inside your round ducts and they all connect with low pressure air hoses, which then tie into the control panel, and it just uses, it's like sucking through a straw, and it just easily opens and closes these. So as you can see, I have a couple of them installed already up above, and I'll tie the ones that go to the basement. I have them each individually marked with a B for basement and one for first floor, and they'll each get tied into a separate hose that ties back to the control panel. So all of the ones from the basement will all be tied together with one hose, and all the ones for the first floor will go back and tie in with a separate hose. So these all go into the individual runs. However, this is the end here, and past this point, I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different ducts all coming off of this trunk that are all dedicated to the first floor. So rather than buying 6 of these round guys, I actually got a rectangular one. It's 8 by 16 there, and it fits right in the trunk. It's a rectangular one, and just you cut a rectangular hole there and slide it right up in, and that'll cut off. That'll open the damper to cut off that entire end of the trunk, which only has first floor runs. So that saved me from, it was a little bit more expensive than buying one of these. The rectangular ones were a little bit more pricey, but I bought one of those instead of 6 of these, which was significantly cheaper. Probably saved me about $400. So I'll get into the details of how to put this in, and let's get started. All right, I have a 7-inch damper here that's going to go right in this run here. They give you this little sticker. Let me get over here. So you want the tubing to face towards the tubing outlet on the damper to face towards your duct run. So this little guy here is going to face towards the unit, so that the flat side faces the direction of the airflow and stops it better. You don't want the air flowing against this side. You want the air flowing against the flat side. So we'll put this right up here and get going. You just want to stick that on there. It can go on the bottom, the side, the top, however you want to do it. It's just easier. I have access here, and it's up high enough that this bottom cylinder won't hang down lower than the ceiling than where I'm working. So this is fine to put it on the bottom. There may be some other ducts. I see one over there that I may have to pop it down, stick it on the side because it's hanging a little low. Maybe I can suspend it up a little bit higher. We will see. But for now, I'm putting this one on the bottom. Just going to get started by drilling a few holes. These are for the screws. And I'm going to do a couple starter holes here for when I stick my tin snips in. Starting with the small bit just makes it easier. I'm going to use a 1/2-inch bit next. But the 1/2-inch bit just works a little bit better when you have something to start into. Okay. And now that you have your holes there, you just take your tin snips. And I realize that you can't see any of this, but hopefully you get the idea of what I'm doing there. So as you can see, I have a couple of holes there. So I am just going to start making my cuts. Just work it little by little. It'll get there. And since this is a 7-inch damper, As you can see, there's a 7 and an 8 marked on there with different cut points. So I'm just going to cut to where the 7 ends. I don't know if you can see that very well, but you can see that there's two different size triangles. I'm obviously just cutting to the shorter one. Just little by little until you get some progress and get that top blade of the snips inside. There we go. And once you do that, then it's real easy to cut. Usually. All right, I got my piece cut out here, that triangle. Toss that over there with the scraps. And now I'm just going to go ahead and put the damper in. All right, so again, you have the flat side. You want that to go towards the long side, and then your little straighten it out. I'll be a little bit more careful this time. And then when you get to here, there's your tubing. You want to go back towards the source of your air. Okay, so we got that lined up, and now it'll just stay in there because now it's turned in the same direction as the hose. And then we'll just take some 1 1/4 inch sheet metal screws and screw those up in there. It's definitely a good idea to pre-drill these holes as I've done. It's easy to get them up in there, so I'm just getting them started, and then I'll come back and tighten them when I get them all at least started a little bit. Okay. All right, got that done. That's it for now. Well, I just want to point out something here. I just put in this damper, and as you can see, it's sticking out a little bit farther than this other one. The reason is because when I put in this run, my seam is facing down right here. You know, it would be, if I had thought about this a little bit better, I would have had the seam facing up or to the side so that so it didn't interfere with where I need to cut in to put my damper. So just something to keep in mind when you're running your ducts. Make sure that the seams face up so that when you cut into them for the damper, they're not in the way. All right, I finished running the tubing for my dampers. It turned out that it was real straightforward, and I didn't really see too much that I needed to comment on and walk you through. You know, you just cut it to length, and then connect them with the little T's that come with the tubing. It doesn't come with it, you gotta buy it separate, but Arzel sells their own. Just want to show you a little bit of the run. So I have 2 different lines up there, one with red and one with blue. Each one is for a different zone. You could use the same color if you want, but it was just easier to keep track when you use 2 different colors. They're about $17 for the roll of tubing, so it's not very expensive to save you a headache down the road and crossing wires and getting lost in what you're doing. So the tubing, just one quick mention, is exactly the same size as a coaxial cable. So I use these little hammer-in staples that are meant for coaxial cable just to tie them up, and you can also use insulated staples for a staple gun if you can find them. I don't know if they still make them or what, but I couldn't find them anywhere. Went to several different hardware stores, and it doesn't seem like anyone carries them anymore. So that's it, and it just ties back into the control panel. There's 2 little knobs at the top, which were covered in like a plastic red cap, so you'll recognize that. So here's my Heat Pump Pro control panel, and as you can see, I have the red, which is for my second floor, going into zone 1, and the blue for my basement going into zone 1. Zone 2, right. So next up is wiring the thermostats and the control panel, and I will give a more in-depth video of that when the time's right. See you then. you got anything out of this video, hit the like button, and feel free to leave your comments below and subscribe because I have a lot more coming.